What's up, guys? Winter Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new test hand video. I did a poll a couple days ago, and in that poll I asked you guys what kind of test hand videos you'd like to see, for what decks in the future. And the most voted one as of last time I checked it was Mekk Invoked, so that's what we're going to go ahead and be doing first. And I've also changed this build a little bit since what was it, the last deck profile we did. I made some changes in the extra deck by adding these, because I am playing a Brilliant Fusion Engine. I'm also playing this for a better Super Poly target, just because it's just two monsters with the same attribute but different types, so it's just a little easier to make instead of relying, on having an Alistair on your field to have to go into any of your Invoked fusions, which is super nice, to have that option as a backup if it ever comes up, and you don't have to leave an Alistair on your field as as bait. So, and I've made a few changes in the main deck as well. I've cut Desires because I'm playing Brilliant. I don't want to run Desires with Brilliant, and just threw the Brilliant engine in, cut Valor, cut some other cards, and arrived at this 40 card build that we are at now. So yeah, and if you're interested in any of these sleeves or this mat that I'm using, go ahead and check out the links in the description. Head over to ImperiumDuelist.com and use that discount code down in the description. Save 10% off in your next order because we are now officially sponsored by them. So yeah, without further ado though, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to do 5 test hands. I think that's what I want to do from now on, is 5, and kind of keep it there. That way so we can get a good test in to test consistency, to see how, because I don't want to make the videos too long and I don't want to make them too short and not get enough in. So I think 5 is going to be like the golden standard from now on. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish pile shuffling here, and then we'll go ahead and start our first test hand, and we'll do our test hand going second, since this deck would generally prefer to go second. And we'll go ahead and stick with the general rule of thumb, which is basically our opponent at least has a single card on their field for us to work with. So if we do happen to have a way to summon a Mekk Knight, and that's how we will be going about doing it. So keep that in mind. Fortunately, this table that I'm using is not long enough to have this mat fully displayed. I gotta work on this table situation, because I would like to be able to use all the zones, but unfortunately I can't right now. So let's draw into our opening hand of 6 cards. So what we would have going first, which in all honesty isn't too bad. We did get the Hornet drones there, and could probably go into some sort of play, probably not too much, but. And now here we are going second, drawing into that Terraforming for our 6th card, and that is pretty much a very solid hand. Mind Control is a card that I've just recently started playing again, and I've been testing this build. I think the past 2 days on my stream I've been playing this build. I probably tested about for 4 hours worth just on stream, just playing game after game. And the Mind Control has time and time again just come up as a super awesome way just to force out negations. And if they don't have any way to stop it, you just get it, and you get to link it away and basically use it for free. So without further ado, we'll get started here. We'll play the Terraforming, and I'll just have my graveyard down here where I normally would have it on a non-zoned mat, just to kind of keep things organized. We'll grab Meltdown, we'll activate Meltdown, and that's going to grab us Alistair right there. And then we'll not summon Alistair yet. We'll play Hornet drones, and that'll give us a token. We'll go ahead and use that as a token right there. My other tokens are away in a box right now, kind of far from me, and I don't feel like going to grab them. So we got our Hornet drone token there, and then we summon our Alistair, and that's going to search us another invocation. We already opened one, so not too big of a deal, but we'll grab another one. Also, I did order a Boral Sword. It's not here yet because I have a Borload in this extra deck, and that's just going to be my Boral Sword proxy, because there's some really awesome, easy to pull off OTKs with Seraphonite and Alistair and Boral Sword and Mekk. You can just OTK super easily. So we'll use this token, and we'll go ahead into Kagari. If I can find her. There we go. Kagari right there. And then we use her effect to add back the Hornet drones, just like that. Now at this point we are going second, and I do kind of want to go into Alistair, Invoker of Madness here, just because that's not my graveyard. That's the field spell zone. we'll go to Invoker of Madness because I think that'd be the best way to go. And we'll summon him there. And that's not Invoker of Madness, that's the wrong one. They look sort of similar. They're both linked to, I don't know, they look similar. They both got the same arrows. So we'll summon him there. And now at this point, we're still left with a few options. Since we have a card in our extra monster zone right now, we don't need to worry about that clause where we have our opponent having at least one card, because now we can summon this regardless, just by simply setting a card. And we'll just set Invocation right here, and then we'll summon this here. And I'm going to put this right here, actually. I think that makes more sense if I put the field spell in the top center of the zone for now. So I have this extra monster zone over here to use. Again, I'm playing on a really small table, and I always have been using this really small table for like all my videos. Maybe it's time to upgrade, who knows. But yeah, so we have Indigo Eclipse here. And I guess another thing we could have done, if we wanted to go for sort of this OTK, we could play this token and get our token on the board, summon this here, and then we could summon our Mekk Knight. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because we could probably just go for that Boros Sword, you know, FTK anyways, just by way of going for Invocation at this point, and banishing Alistair and Kagari, because I'd rather not, you know, banish this on the field, because we actually might need that. And actually, we don't even need to play Invocation just yet, because we'll link this away, and we'll go into Hayate. And this is a little bit extra, but it's not entirely necessary, but I still want to do this play. So Hayate here, and we could just use the token to link, but you know, Boros Sword needs effect monsters. So again, this is like super extra, I would say. But we have link 2, link 1, and we have this extra monster here. So we go here, here, and here. Well, actually, first I'd probably want to do it like this. I'd want to fusion summon and banish the Kagari and the Alistair. Put those over there. Summon our Purgatrio, and then we can use this. Discard the Mind Control. Grab Book of the Law. The Book of the Law. Just like that. And now we can go into Boros Sword using these, because Alistair's already done his job. And again, this is just this is Borload, I know, but we're going to use him as Boros Sword, so this is not Borload, it's Boros Sword. We all know his effect, so. And then we can use Invocation, put Invocation back into the deck, put Alistair back into our hand. And we would have a extra monster zone here and here, because that's where Boros Sword would point. And since we have Purgatrio, not only do we not have to worry about them having like a defense thing to wall up behind, because we can just pierce, and we also have this Book of the Law that we can tag into for Mekk for even more damage. So at this point we would just attack, and then attack again, and then use the effect to turn to defense, and then attack again, and then we could use this, get rid of this, and go for Mekk, swing again, and that way, at the end of the turn, we still have an Ash, Invocation, and a Alistair in hand to negate things with next turn, which is really good. So I would say that's a very good first turn. Definitely had a lot of plays to do there, more than just what we did. For sure, definitely tons of different ways to play out that opening hand, but still pulled off the FTK, OTK, whatever you want to call it, no problem. And it gets that, like, that little sequence there, you know, going into Borload with, you know, your fusion and doing that attack, turn to defense, attack. That gets a whole lot sweeter, you know, when you have like Brilliant Fusion play early in that turn. You get to normal summon Alistair twice, and you get that double surge of Invocation. For us, we opened double Invocation, so like we honestly didn't need that, and we also were able to get access to the Book of the Law because we had to go into Alistair early because we saw that Hornet drone, so that saved our ass quite a bit. I'm gonna pile shuffle again, and we'll do another test hand. All right, so we're all shuffled. Let's go ahead and open into our next test hand. We'll do another going second. Oh my god, we opened the Garnet. Okay, that's really rough. And I actually drew a hand like just 30 seconds ago or whatever, and drew into a Valor, and realized I wasn't playing Valor in this build. So that first hand we did, it was a 41 card build, which it wasn't supposed to be, but I drew the other hand beforehand. I drew Garnet in that hand and Valor, and I was like, wait, Valor's not supposed to be in here. So I took it out, drew this hand again, and we still opened Garnet. Oh well, not too big of a deal. What are you going to do about it? So this is the hand we were dealt. Again, it's not super bad, right? It could be better. Let's start off with the Invocation, or Meltdown, I should say. I'd rather Meltdown first into Alistair, so if now they have a Droll and Lock, we get a little bit of a better card to our hand to use. The Terraforming hand is actually sort of useless right now. Or actually, no, it's not, because we are playing that third Meltdown, so we could just go ahead and search it. But I'd rather not. I kind of just want to hold the Terraforming in hand, because we can set it and use it as a way to create a zone. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to normal summon Alistair now and grab Invocation. And I'm, like I said earlier, with this whole way we do our, going second test hands here with Mekk Knights, anytime we have a Mekk Knight, we kind of, pretend, or at least just imagine our opponent at least has one card in either of their main zones for us to work with in order to summon a Mekk Knight. But I'm going to try to, not use that as much as possible. So if that means I have to go into a card like Mekaba here first to be able to do that, then that's what I have to do. So we have this Earth in hand, and I was thinking about playing the Earth one because this is like a possibility that, we could draw into Garnet and then use this as fusion material. But that wouldn't be the prime reason that I play it. The main reason I would play it is to be able to tag into him and off of the Book of the Law and punch for 3k. But yeah, at this point, since we've searched our Invocation here, and I don't play the Earth Fusion though right now. Like I said, I'd only use him to go in on the Book of the Law, and this really is a super situational thing, but I'm not going to use it for that right now. What I'm going to do is sort of put into play that our opponent has at least one card, and let's say it's in this zone here. So we'll summon our Purple Nightfall, and then we'll banish him and go ahead and search Blue Sky. Because this is really the only way we're getting anything done with this play, and then Blue Sky is going to activate, and we'll grab Purple Eclipse, or Indigo Eclipse. And then here we will link into, I would say, Alistair. This is really all it takes, is our opponent to have one card in any zone for us to use. One card, and that's it. Now we have Invoker of Madness here, which is really good. And here we could summon Indigo Eclipse, but we don't need to. But what I'm going to do now is just use Invocation, play this, banish these, and summon out a Mekaba. And with that, I'm also going to use this effect to be able to search. So let's discard Garnet. We don't need that in our hand. And let's search the Book of the Law. I don't think we need another copy of Invocation. Where is it? And it's also nice because I'm playing Ragin in the extra deck, so we can tag into that. So if they do use the Mekaba negation, we do negate something with it, they still have to worry about, at this point, another disruption, which would be the Book of Moon effect of Ragin. So they have to keep that in mind. And have that shuffled up there. We still have this Garnet in the graveyard, which is oh well. And now at this point we can set this and summon Indigo Eclipse. And we could also use this to bring this back to Link Climb again if we really wanted to. We could actually go into Borrelsword again with these. Oh, well, this needs to be an effect monster, so that's really not an entirely possible thing to do, because Borrelsword needs effect monsters. But at this point, this is all we're probably really going to be able to pull off. And even at this point, with what we have, we could still bring this back just for damage, because he does have 1900 attack. And we could leave this the way it is, and then just, attack, 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 and then Book of Law into a Purgatrio, and swing again for more damage. And since the special summon is treated as a fusion summon, we could technically get to search another Invocation. So we could use that to probably at the end of the turn go into another Mekaba if we wanted that negation. Again, going into the next turn, if there is a next turn, still have that Terraform to use. So that's pretty much how that one works out. I don't think I missed too much, but Yeah, so that's going to be it for that test hand. We'll go ahead and do test hand number 3. Alright, we are all shuffled up and ready to go here for our third test hand. Maybe we'll be able to see Brilliant Fusion once this entire video. I swear to God it's in here. But no, it looks like we're opening up a bunch of Mekk Knights and Alistair. So we would have had Ash in our opening hand for our opponent's first turn play, so that may or may not be in the graveyard at this point. That's one thing to keep in mind. So there's a possible live Purgatrio if need be. But this is our hand, and where it stands right now, it's not too terrible. We have World Legacy's Memory in hand, which is super nice. But going second, the goal pretty much for this deck is either to OTK or to still put up a sustainable board with like Mekk and maybe one other link. So at this point, I'm going to start by summoning Invoker. And then searching Invocation. Those two cards go hand in hand. And now we have two routes really. We could either use that rule, you know, our opponent has at least one card. We could set Invocation in that column, summon this, search, and do other plays. Or we could just go right into Mekk, banish the, I would say probably the Indigo Eclipse, and then summon Purple Nightfall and search, and then go into Blue Sky and search more. There's a couple things we could do here, and it's kind of tough to decide what would be the best thing to make. And I guess it's just sort of a resource thing, since we don't have any way to tell what our opponent would actually have in a situation like this. So whatever is going to be the most cost effective. I think in my personal opinion, what I'm going to do is just set the Invocation, summon Purple Nightfall, use his effect, banish him, go grab Blue Sky, and sort of take it down this route here. Blue Sky effect activates. And with that, I'm going to grab another Purple Nightfall because we already have Indigo Eclipse and Red Moon in hand. And I just kind of want to get our Purple Nightfalls going so we have something during our next turn, because I don't think there's a way for us to pull off a really good OTK at the moment. So let's go ahead and get rid of these two and link. Probably link into Invoker of Madness. This card again is just so darn good. And then here we can summon something with Invocation. So we'll do that now. We'll banish this, and I want to use this Indigo Eclipse in a hand because I want to leave this engraved so we can use our Red Moon. Because I value that card a lot. I don't know why, I just kind of do. I want to be able to use that utility later on because it's such a good card. So now we'll use this effect here, and we'll discard the Memory, since we already have another copy of Nightfall. Or we could just discard Purple Nightfall, or we could just... well, this wouldn't get banished. This would just get sent to the graveyard. Because I'm thinking Invocation only banishes stuff from field and grave, not from hand. So I think it'd be best just to probably discard the Purple Nightfall as much as I don't want to. It's kind of a tough decision. Oh well, we'll just stick with the way it is. We still have another one in deck after all, so it's not too big of a deal. Now we'll use this effect. We already discarded. I'm going to grab Book of the Law. Again, our main OTK facilitator. And we put Invocation back into the deck. No, we didn't, so let's do that now. Grab Alistair back to our hand. And here, with what we have left, well, this Red Moon is supposed to be in our hand. Here, there's not a whole lot we could do. Again, I would probably just set this here, summon this, and use this effect to destroy a monster. If they have a monster, again, this helps to clear up the field for more damage, obviously, and of course we'd have to summon this in the right zone to whatever that monster might be. So earlier, when we used this to fusion summon, we could have just probably got rid of the Red Moon, and then had this on field to use anyways. Maybe they don't have a monster, and that's not your concern at the moment. Again, there's a couple other things you can do here. And we have this going into our opponent's next turn. We still have an Ash in hand, which is really nice. we have Book of the Law as, you know, a way to potentially OTK at this point. You know, 18, 24, 25, potential 35, and then, you know, going into a Purgatrio and swinging in for more damage. We have this coming back next standby phase, and we still have that Ashen Hand, like I said. So that one plays out pretty good. Again, it's like the same as the last turn we had, pretty much, but that's just consistent, I guess. It's a consistently good opening, you know, only 2 with Mekk and a Mekk Knight or 2 in your hand, and maybe a purple Nightfall coming back the next standby phase. Like, that's just a consistent, good hand that this deck is capable of doing, and it's just why I like this deck so much. It doesn't, like, go overboard with the plays it makes, you know, like U-Link stuff, Link Spam. It just makes a few summons here and there, and it can put out a lot of damage and a really solid board, and that's why I really like this deck a lot. So, I'm going to shuffle up again, and we'll go ahead and do another test hand. Alright, hopefully we'll see Brilliant Fusion in this hand. This is the 4th hand, I believe. There it is, and our next card, Indigo. Yeah, there it is. Still not the most ideal hand, because Brilliant Fusion really doesn't do a whole lot for us right now, but the one thing that I found that's really nice about Brilliant Fusion in this deck is when you're sending your light target, obviously you have to send Garnet, but your light target can be this guy most of the time, mainly because it does 2 things. Like, sending a Mekk Knight does 2 things off of this. It gives you fodder for a card like Red Moon to banish. It creates, you know, huge synergy with this card, and we just happen to open it, actually. Because when you can dump this to the graveyard and later be able to search this, you already have that, you know, level 5 or higher engrave to summon out, and especially since this guy can move zones, you have that really good synergy where he can negate pretty much anything in any monster zone. So that's just really clutch. But here, I think what I want to do is... This is tough. This is a tough hand. We'll set, and then we'll summon, and then Blue Sky effect will activate. I'm going to go grab Purple Nightfall. And the one thing about this is, like, we can use... Like, the extra normal summon really isn't going to come in handy right now. But what it's going to do is create an extra monster on the field for us to link with. And I guess that's about as good as it's going to get right now. We just weren't able to see Alistair in this opening hand, which is really unfortunate. So I play Brilliant Fusion right now, and go ahead and activate it. And send... I'm going to send Garnet, obviously, and I'm also going to send Indigo Eclipse to the grave. Hope you can see these guys down here. And we'll summon our Seraphonite. First time summoning Seraphonite the entire video. Welcome, Seraphonite. And again, this also creates another zone for us to use, which is nice because we have this extra deck monster here. So I'm going to set the trap, summon Nightfall here, banish him, and I'm going to go grab Red Moon because that's the only one we don't have currently. Or we could grab another copy of Blue Sky if we wanted to do more searching next turn. But I'll just grab Red Moon now because I'm trying to be a little more aggro, I suppose. Now, we can't go into Alistair, obviously, but, I mean, well, we technically could because it's just 2 monsters with different attributes and types. We have Psychic, Fairy, and Light and Earth, so we could do that, but we have no way to fusion. And, like, again, with Alistair, the thing is, you don't need to, like, have an Invoked fusion get summoned to be able to do that search he does, you know, when you discard to search Invocation or the Book of the Law. So a lot of times you can also use Brilliant Fusion to trigger his effect by summoning Seraphonite. Just in general, summoning Seraphonite will trigger that effect because you fusion summon something. So you can use that to search Invocation even though you don't have Alistair, and then that extra normal summon you can use on your Alistair if you already normal summoned or what have you. It's just super awesome, but we just couldn't pull it off here, of course. Always has to be on camera, the worst luck. But we'll go into these. Those two will go into, I should say. I can't even speak right now. What is wrong with me? We'll summon this, and then we'll use this effect to discard Indigo, and we'll grab a copy of the only other Mekk Knight or World Legacy card we don't have access to right now, and that's Memory. And from there, we probably could just summon the this card in any zone that our opponent would have something, we just have to summon it here. Maybe use this effect to banish something, to destroy something, and at that point we just swing in with these two. And we also have this trap card though, Lying in Wake, to be able to summon this during our opponent's turn, which gives us a layer of negation. And we also have an Ash Blossom in hand, and we also have World Legacy's Memory. We could have also used Succession to bring back another Indigo Eclipse to do more damage that previous turn. So that's sort of how that one ended up playing out. So again, you could have probably played it out entirely different than me. That's just sort of what I would do and sort of what I was thinking. So hopefully in this next hand we can get, you know, Alistair, a decent hand of Mekk Knights, and like a Brilliant Fusion. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle one more time, and we'll do our final test hand. So we're shuffling it once again. Let's draw into our next hand. Meltdown. Okay, this is already... Oof. Alright, no Brilliant Fusion, man. No freaking Brilliant Fusion. That's just unfortunate. That's just unfortunate. I just wish there was a way to search that card that would fit well in this deck. I know you can search Brilliant Fusion, but to fit well in this deck, I wouldn't want to play like the Predaplant engine here. So we'll play Meltdown. See if we can want to play it in the center there. Grab an Alistair, and we could mind control them if we need to, but right now I'll just keep it in hand. Then Alistair will come down, and we'll search an Invocation like that. And what else do we have in hand? We just have another Alistair. This hand is not the greatest, and you can see why, because we don't really have any other way to do any fusion summoning. The only thing we'd have to bank on is our opponent having a monster for us to mind control, and hopefully it's a light, or it's a fire, or it's a wind, anything really. Or it's a light and a warrior, because we can use Invocation to go into the Mud Dragon. Well, no, we couldn't use that, but... Well, I guess we could if we're mind controlling. I was thinking more of a super poly, but this hand is not the greatest, obviously. This is one of those hands where it's pretty lackluster, and you're not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. But like, if we just add like Brilliant Fusion to our hand, like this play just gets so much better. Like leaps and bounds better. I think like right now, legit, like one of the best openings you could probably have would be like this, and probably like a Brilliant Fusion. Like opening these three cards would just be insane. Just because you could token into Kagari, add it back, and then summon this, search Invocation. Then you could play this, get your Seraphinite. Obviously, you'd probably want to go into Hayate first, or you could link, before you even activate Brilliant Fusion, link Alistair and Kagari into a Invoker of Madness, and that would get you a search on the summon of Brilliant Fusion, or on the summon of Seraphinite. Search a Book of Law, search another Invocation, and from there just keep going with whatever cards you have, and you can just keep link climbing and things like that. Obviously with like another Mekk Knight in hand as well on top of that would be super good. That's going to be it for this test hand video. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was probably a bit of a longer one, I realize, but yeah. Again, if you want to pick up these sleeves or a mat like this, go over to ImperiumDuelist.com. Check out the links in the description. I'm sponsored by them now, and I got a discount code for you guys if you want to go ahead and use that. But anyways, Winter Kills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.